Give me that. That's mine. That's mine.
No brand.
Sponsored by. Oh, sponsored by.
How is everyone?
How is everyone?
Don't. I need that.
Let's
I need it.
summon demons.
Ian, do you know what this is?
It looks like a card of some sort. That's
Yes.
for some occasion.
Your mom gave this to me.
Okay,
Just
thanks.
kidding. No, this is a sample from the. I'm buying the conference badges for Vatican, and I am. And this is a sample that I got, and I'm trying to figure out if I want to go with this company or not. It turns out that everything went up in price in the last 2 years. Go and
Why?
figure. Go and figure.
Go and figure.
Yeah. But at least my retirement is doing awesome.
Oh,
so
sure.
everything's good.
Okay. Invest in Canada Dry today. Anyway, welcome everybody. It is Wednesday. Where's the music? There's the music. Wednesday, the 23rd of April. That is.
Of April.
And we got a bunch of things going on today. So here's some topics. Il Papa. If you know what that means.
Emort.
Emort, that's true. Where does water come from? Where does it come from? Poe or no? A couple of them. That should not say science fiction, just say something else. But Niagara Falls, actually, that's what we're going to do. Actually, there's a bunch of things, so we'll just run through a bunch of stuff. It'll be fun. Niagara Falls. Actually, that is the water one. Whatever. Anyway, welcome in, everybody. Bada bing, bada boom.
Welcome.
You get to some silly things. If you guys have anything to say in the chat, or you want to say anything to chat at the beginning, Nauticon is around the corner.
Boy, man.
We are prepping like.
Wait, when is that?
Like we're
Ian?
preppers. That is May 15th, 16th, 14th, 15th, 16th?
15, 16, and 17.
Okay, I said it wrong.
Today's what, the 25th?
23rd.
Right.
Today is the
VIP is
23rd.
15th.
We actually sold some tickets today. as a
That's
matter
true.
of fact.
Couple more tickets. There's still more
Some
tickets
last
available.
minute people coming. Yeah.
Last minute. And there is the shows, right? The newly added live shows.
That's right.
Friday
2
and Saturday.
1-hour live recordings of the SGU.
Huzzah.
These are going to be very special episodes.
Very.
Because
Yes.
we're doing a stage show. That's going to be like the
Talking
news
about
item, more typical format. And then we're going to just when we do some of these like extra shows at live events, we have like weird discussions. We do something.
It's not going to be a news item SGU
Yeah,
show. It's going to be
yeah.
crazy. Bob was talking about getting his nipple pierced on live,
Was I?
live stream or something.
Was
right,
I
Bob?
drinking when I said that?
And I thought Ian was going to do it.
Sounds
Yes, I don't think I'm trained in
painful.
that yet,
Ow.
but I can AI that.
I saw
figure out something.
the reason why I said that was I saw somebody pierce themselves right here, right through this fleshy part, right here,
Wait, where?
right here.
Right here.
Right there.
Bonk.
Live
Flesh.
on TikTok.
Just the flesh, not the card. No, there is bone up the top.
With like a
There's bone.
needle or with like a thing?
with
you
a
squeeze?
proper
Okay.
proper instrument,
Wow.
like because it pushes like something through. I mean, I'm not a piercer, so I don't know, but there was something that gets pushed through and left, and then they
By
boom.
demons?
And I'm like, the person didn't flinch or anything. There
Wow.
was like no response, and I'm thinking like, was this AI? Who the hell knows? It looked real.
Was he on drugs?
It was a woman.
Was she on drugs? On the drugs.
That reminds me of Pulp Fiction when the drug dealer's wife is like, I'm pierced, here, like she's listing all the places that she's got piercings, and apparently she had one.
I don't remember that.
Huevos.
I gotta watch that again.
Remember that comedian?
Yeah, it's Pablo
He is so
Francisco.
freaking good. He does
Huevos.
the
I
best
love
movie
his-
voice
Oh, yeah. In a world.
in a world.
So
I love that guy. so much.
Olivia asked about the logistics of this. Actually, we have a 2-hour time slot for lunch. So 1
Or
hour
two and
of
a
that,
half, actually.
2.5. 1 hour of that 2.5-hour time slot will be used up by the live recording.
And I'll be feeding them during the live recording. Spoons will come up and a conveyor belt of food.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about the lunch thing because we want to eat too. I guess ordering from like a restaurant for all these people would be a logistical nightmare, huh?
No, we'll get food. I'll go.
We'll-
You know what I mean?
we'll
While
take
you
care of
guys
it.
are doing the thing, I'll
Really?
Ian will bring a
I'll
watermelon
bring-
and
I will
he'll
bring-
slice it up to give 100
Yes.
slices
No.
out to the
You could
audience.
slice
Not
it with
slice.
Steve's samurai sword.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Fancy Gallagher style.
So right over there is a pile of swag that we're bringing. That's
going to-
about as tall as me.
Yeah.
And then I'm ordering new stuff. I just ordered new stuff today.
Mm-hmm.
And Silac will be very, very excited.
Very, very excited.
Yep.
Well, let's do some silly things to begin with. Here's a picture of a hammerhead shark. What do you guys think of that? The little.
I love that.
So that's the cartilage?
I guess that's the cartilage of
Wait
the
a second.
inside of its skull.
That's that alien from the cantina in movie 4, Star Wars.
Yep.
Ian,
It's
find
kinda
that
true.
guy and bring it up.
The alien from Canteen. Okay.
Yeah, the one that turns his head like this.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it?
it was like a hammerhead alien.
Oh, okay.
That is cool.
Alien
Look at that, man.
Cantina.
What is that? Those stringy things? That is
Skills.
skills.
We will
Gills
be in the
something.
cantina in a month.
Mm-hmm.
We will
Well,
be
not
in the
that
Star Wars.
cantina.
We will be in a Star
A
Wars
facsimile
cantina.
of the cantina.
And I've been there. It's fun.
Oh,
and
is it
the
this one?
drinks are good. They're like science fiction-y and tasty.
This one?
Nope. Yep.
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 Nope. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I just thought it looks so kind of funny. There's something derpy about it.
It is kind of derpy. I'll tell you what, though, when one of those bites you, you're not going to be
That's
laughing.
true. I
don't
won't be
mess.
derping.
They are man-eaters.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess with those
them.
guys.
Anyway, that was a weird find on Reddit. On the
Something
Reddit.
horrible happened to me a couple of nights ago.
Oh, Lord.
Because,
We're starting already
we're
with
always
this?
looking for content on freaking TikTok, which, I can't stand.
Hmm.
But anyway, it was a scuba diver. Everything looked real.
Oh no.
And then, like, out of the dark shadows of the water, a megalodon mouth opens. And I'm lying in bed. My heart rate quadrupled. It was freaking scary. It was not, it wasn't like, definitely I could tell that it was fake when that came out. Because it wasn't just its size, but it was like, the mouth, when it opened its mouth really wide, like it had even scarier looking shark teeth. But I'm like, what the? Of course, like, I'm trying to relax to go to bed, and that happens.
Remember, we were in some museum and it had a megalodon.
We were in
full-
D.C.
That was DC.
Yep.
And that was cool. That
Full
was
scale
cool.
megalodon. And that was an anxiety
That was
inducer as
huge.
well. Thing is massive.
I mean, it's the biggest jaw in Earth history,
Yep.
right?
Oh wait, I don't know
Really?
about that.
That's interesting.
Biggest jaw in Earth history.
Well,
No, I mean,
but except for the Balrog.
The Balrog.
no. What about some whales? No.
Let's
I
look
think
up.
whales.
Biggest jaw
I think some
ever.
whales would beat that.
That
The
thing
longest
can
jaw-
swallow a whale.
Or maybe the greatest bite strength.
Maybe.
The longest jaw is the sperm whale, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Although that might be like not extinct. Extant, I guess.
The sperm whale is extant for now.
Extant.
Yeah, I know, Sharon. I know. I'm trying to.
This is very like what's that game? What's that underwater game? that you played?
Swimming.
Yes. You know what I'm talking about. No, like the video game.
Subnautica.
Subnautica. Yeah, it's
Subnautica,
very
yeah.
Subnautica, like Ghost Reaper, whatever.
Yeah,
Leviathan
that's
thing.
what I thought of.
I'm
too.
not even
yeah.
afraid of those anymore. I'm playing Subnautica 2,
Yeah.
and I came across like the big new bad guy, and all I did was I hid, and it was nothing.
Oh, okay.
It's not really a combat game.
No,
No.
it's
You
not.
are supposed to just hide.
Yeah.
Run away.
Run away. Here's a fun little frog interaction that I saw.
Oh yeah.
Did you see this thing? Hold on, let me refresh it because
Is it legit?
there's a
Wait, I thought.
the frog eats the little bug.
Did you send that to me, or did I send that to you?
No, I just saw it. I think Reddit knows
This,
what we like.
this is awesome. Watch this. It's like, what the hell are you doing? You ate my thing. Hey, man,
Well, the hand on his head is awesome.
Yeah.
Watch this.
There's more? Oh.
It's a bug. Like, okay.
Bloop. You had your time here.
It's Lau's time.
That's a stink bug, isn't it?
Kind of looks like one.
No.
Or a
Wait,
cockroach.
now he
maybe?
grabbed it.
Watch. What are they thinking?
I don't know. There is something funny
That
about
green
their
frog on the
reactions.
left, that frog is high. There's no other explanation.
There is something funny about his reaction right here. And
Do it.
attack.
You
Give
son
it.
of a bitch.
Puke
And
it up.
and he's
Puke
trying
it
to
up.
mind meld with him. What did it taste like? What did it taste like?
Anyway, there are some other fun ones that people even sent us in. This restaurant in Bangkok has been serving the
Yes.
same soup for 45 years.
Yeah, I've
apparently.
seen these ongoing
Perpetual
pots.
soups, as they call it. However, apparently they do clean the pot. They just like reserve a little bit from each night. So in theory, so it's like a homeopathic soup.
Well, but the same with what's that candy where they they take a piece from yesterday's batch and put it in the next one. The chewy chocolate.
I have no idea what you're talking
What?
about.
Tootsie
Never heard of
Pop?
it before.
Yeah, Tootsie Roll.
Do they?
Yeah,
That's
yep.
a perpetual chocolate?
Yep.
Is that why it tastes bad?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a different reason. But yeah, so what percentage of that soup do you think exists 45 years later?
I mean, there's molecules.
like a molecule? It's C to a what? C100 or C1000? What is the homeopathic shaking
Yeah.
thing?
I mean,
100C.
like
Yeah,
when I make
100C,
my
that's
starter,
right.
my starter is a chain from the first one I made all the way to the most recent one so for 3 years.
Well, that was not uncommon though to have like a hunter stew where people like in medieval times people would contribute to it whatever they had and they would take out.
What do you got in your pocket?
No, if you killed something, you threw pieces of it in there. Or you brought some potatoes or something, or whatever, and it was just like a community stew. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And it was just endlessly ongoing.
Yeah, but you can't just have a thing cooking and heated, indefinitely because like the meat in there, even though it's at temperature, would go bad in some right in some
Well, I mean,
way.
I get the idea is that you're constantly turning over the stuff in there, but I
Yeah.
guess if you're mixing it up, just statistically, there is some piece of it that is like super old that's been there for a really long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that probably just turns to like just broth at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah. I
Right.
guess you're
Yeah.
right.
It's not going to stay
Decays away.
chewy for.
But yeah, the owner
50
apparently
years.
said we clean it every night. It's like it's not just constantly going for 45 years. Anyway, that was a fun little thing. Let's see some other weird stuff. You guys heard of Subtropolis?
No.
Subtropolis.
Subtropolis.
I like that word.
This is
I heard of a metropolis, and I've heard of the
Metropolis.
subtropics.
Well, so if it's a metropolis and it's under, so here's this guy who has a theory.
Okay.
About
So now you're telling me that there's an underground city below Los Angeles that's been there for God knows how long called Subtropolis? I'm sorry, what? I've never heard of such a thing, but I just saw a video today and now my mind is blown because I've been obsessing over the fires and all the random information that I'm getting from people that live there, from the news, from TikTok. A lot of things in my mind don't add up with these fires. And I'm sure a lot of you agree with me. I've heard some theories, some a little way over here, but they also make sense. Some way over here, but those also make sense too. So there's an underground city. And the video, if you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, find the video now. It's called Subtropolis. But they keep like it was giving Raiders of the Lost Ark vibe. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, you're gonna find some dark.
It doesn't add up in your mind because the top of your head is missing.
This guy's a mess. I mean, I can't even follow his line of thought.
Well, what is this? Let me give you time to contemplate. What does this image look like to you?
The parking lot.
Okay, good. Well, what does it look like it's made out of?
It looks like it's foam insulation.
Could be.
Or the spray cement.
Could be. Could
Salt
be.
mines.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, good job, Bob.
Very good, Bob.
That's good, Bob.
So yeah, this person, I had to find like a repost because this guy deleted it after getting like a lot of attention and then like probably people dunking on him. Subtropolis is
city
quote unquote
operating
large
deep
working
underground
city.
as we go about our lives on the surface above. It's real, and it's right here in the United States.
Subtropolis. Decades ago, limestone was mined here for concrete and asphalt. What's left is space. A lot of space.
Okay, so what's down here right now? We have 6 million square feet of buildings leased to 55 companies. There's 1,700 employees that run around here and go to work every day.
It's a massive industrial park, all underground. Do you ever worry?
So you may have heard of like government cheese. Apparently that's where they store a lot of the so-called government cheese, you know, like in the salt mines. And then there's a lot of just storage of like files and stuff that they don't want, you know, to burn. But TikTok has taken that to mean that there's an underground civilization, that like the wealthy are causing the fires and then they have their bunkers under it. Anyway.
This is the city fires again thing.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It's interesting how they turn something.
Of course. I mean,
that.
Yeah.
everything, nothing can just happen. The fires can't just happen because of, you know, the global warming and lack of, you know, moisture. You know, it's always like, it doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up. I don't know.
Doesn't make sense in my mind.
Get this subtropolis.
Therefore, there's a worldwide conspiracy to confuse me.
Right. There's, random stuff doesn't happen. Nothing's random.
He brought up the fires and this subtropolis, and in his mind, they were interwoven somehow, and he didn't express that connection at all. And that's where I was like, what is this guy talking
But
about?
what about Stratopolis
Yeah.
or Altotopolis?
Or Tenortopolis. All right, let's look at this. So now these are, I have a couple Poe or No's. We'll get to
All
that
right.
segment, the Poe or No segment.
Il Papa.
So we'll see what you think. Yeah, we'll get to Il Papa in a little bit. Papa. So here we go. Let's see if you guys agree or disagree with this gentleman's assertions. Oop.
When I snap
we
my
could hear him.
fingers, you would no longer be.
So eyebrow height tells you how much
Height?
time somebody needs to make a decision. So eyebrow height tells you how much time somebody needs to make a decision. Yours are very low, yours a little higher. Not much higher, but higher eyebrow people is who I'd start talking to in the room, and I'd work my way down to the low people. Or if we walked in, everybody had very low eyebrows. Oh crap, we have 45 slides, we need to cut down to 15 slides.
Right.
So we would adjust to the person instead of just show up and pitch our product.
What?
Right.
So do you want me to play
This
that
looks
again?
like neuro-linguistic programming kind of level of bullshit.
Yeah, basically. His assertion is that people who have their eyebrows are lower, or maybe they're grimacing or whatever, like they need more time to be explained something as opposed to somebody with higher eyebrows.
So eyebrow height
let's look at it.
tells you how much time somebody needs to make a decision.
Yeah.
Yours are very low, yours a little higher. Not much higher, but higher eyebrow people is who I'd start talking to in the room, and I'd work my way down to the low people. Or if we walked in, everybody had
does
very
he
low
even
eyebrows.
hear himself?
Oh crap, we have 45 slides, we need to cut down to 15 slides.
Right. So this is the question: is it Poe or no? Is it so dumb,
No,
or
it's
is it
not so dumb that it has to be a Poe. Because people, that's again, that we encounter that kind of level of stuff. It's you know, numerology level stuff where you're just looking for patterns and then you assume that there's a cause and effect, and then you get confirmation bias kicking in. But it's also random, so it could be somebody could easily have made that up. There's no way. I don't know how you could possibly tell.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a tell, right? He just straight. He just says this is something.
Oh my God.
This is how I market to people.
I would
guess.
think the higher your eyebrows, the more surprised you are, and the more time you would need to process surprising stuff.
Exactly. No, because
Whatever.
lower eyebrow people look like cartoon cavemen, which means they look dumber.
But shouldn't they be easier to convince?
I-
or are they harder to convince?
I don't know. I was lost when he used the word height.
Did he?
Yeah.
I think there may be absolutely no correlation with anything.
Okay, that's good. So a no, or who knows? So this one we got sent a bunch. Now this may be closer to a power now.
Okay.
These are the sisters from Australia.
What are they doing?
They're doing some stuff. Let's see what they're
Is the
doing.
mind link one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see if this loads. Perth. You're getting this all the way from down under, and it doesn't want to load. Hold on.
It's got a long way to go.
It certainly does. Oh my God. It was working
done with
before.
this?
Right.
Hold on. Stand by. While
I need it.
get
In the shot.
I know, but I
Viral
need it.
twins interview. We talk at the same time. Now you're gonna know what the thing is. Wah. Whoop. Is this it? Continue. No. Continue without supporting. Ad block.
It was an ad blocker.
Here we go.
There they
Witnesses are recounting some of the drama that unfolded on the Sunshine Coast this afternoon. Two sisters have told how their mother and man raced to help when the carjacked SUV rolled on Steve Irwin Way, only to find the gun-wielding car thief emerging from the wreck. Here's some of what they had to say.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum, and he went up there and he was coming back down towards us, and he goes, "Run, he's got a gun." And our heart started to pound, and I said, "Oh, Mum, where's Mum?" And poor Mum was stuck up there, but apparently our brave Mum, she goes, "Are you all right?"
Because he had all blood
all over his face.
Stop it.
And he goes, "I'll shoot you." She goes, "Hey, I'm here to help."
And Mum distracting him to make him look the other way, and he looked the other way, and Mum ran
into the bush behind the fence. And the guy goes to her, "I'll find you and I'll shoot you." All I was thinking about when we were running, I hope he doesn't fire.
Jay has had enough.
I mean, first of all, cut the shit. Like, just stop with that. Like,
But that's the shtick.
That's the question. Is it a Poe and they're putting on, and it's a gag, or is there something else?
Steve, you and I, let's try this right now.
Some
Ready?
sort of. No.
No? You want to try it back?
No, I think they described the story so many times. It just made it even more, their story more in sync. And it seems like they probably do this a lot, and that's just what they do, or they try to do it.
It is annoying, though. I agree with you. It's like one at a time, please.
This would be on Ellen if it was 2009.
I mean, I think if my gut's telling me they're legit, and that's like their thing, and I think their thing sucks. It's stupid. Like, if they did that in front of me, I'd literally be like.
But wait, what do you mean legit? Like they have some brain meld?
No. I can do that. I can copy what people are saying.
Sure, but that's a shtick. Then are they putting it on, or is it?
They might just do it because they're twins. You know what I mean? Like they probably did it in high school to make people think they're interested. This is their thing. This is what they're like. Yeah.
Well, we have no context here, so we don't really know. But
that's what my gut's telling me.
Yeah.
And if my gut tells it to me, it's got to be right.
Well, I guess is there a neurological situation where you would?
No. Yeah, it's called stupidity. It's called you're boring.
I don't think there's anything extraordinary going on here. Yeah, they're just telling the same story.
They're wearing the same goddamn shirt. Like this is their thing, guys.
Hey, they're two separate shirts.
They're super excited that there's a camera pointing at them and they're getting their 2.5 seconds of fame. It's just so stupid. I don't know. Take up drawing. Something. I don't know.
They're not Siamese twins, are they?
No, I don't think they're conjoined or whatever. Or whatever the correct term is.
Conjoined twins?
Yes, it's more correct.
Yeah, they're just conning us.
I don't know why this annoys me so much. I guess, I don't know. It's innocuous.
I think that's the point. Like, it is cringy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how could you possibly not notice if you're, well adjusted?
Yes.
That it's weird.
Well,
echolalia.
Echolalia. Mm. I mean, you can see one of them is definitely trying to follow what the other is.
They're
she's
both
a little
doing
behind.
They're both
and they
it.
like switch back and forth. So it's not like
one of them might be the top, like the leader.
The head twin. Anyway, so that's that. Thank you, chatters, for sending that.
Like said, it's called being in a band. It's like it's rehearsed.
Oh, it's rehearsed.
And we went and saw our mom, and it's like, come on, we could see what you're doing there.
All right, let's get to some longer discussion. So you can buy sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about this?
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly
I'll
go
take
wrong?
3.
I'll take 3 sunlights for $1.
I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently there's a startup company.
I love when he starts.
Yeah, start with that. That, that
I don't know
increases
if
my
it's
confidence in
true
what
or
you're about
not,
to say.
But
Okay, I don't know if this is true or not, but
Don't
apparently
say
there's
it.
a startup company to where it's called Buy Sunlight.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's real. 100%
It is real?
It's very real.
If it's dark outside, you can purchase sunlight, and what it does, it gives you a map, and then you click where your house is, or you can do a friend's house, and a satellite pivots to where it does what we talked about with that one satellite that it imitates the sun.
Yeah.
They apparently have that, and you can literally purchase for your house to get direct sunlight at night.
I think that's their pitch. I don't think it's up there, and I don't think it's active.
It's happening next year. They say it's going to be dropping late next year, and the first people that purchase it, you're going to have it's like 30 minutes or something, and it's like 5 kilometers. So it's like not just your house.
Oh, you're affecting
also
everyone.
Like
yeah.
like at 3 a.m. you could literally just have like full on sunlight and just prank your neighbors or something. I think it's hilarious. I think it's amazing.
What if they can't control the magnitude of the sun reflection, and it's like
dies.
ants with a magnifying glass, like literally lights us on fire.
Just gone.
What are some circumstances in which you would want to do that outside of pranking your buddy?
I mean, I don't know, having
Solar
a party.
panels.
Yeah, that's.
Solar
I
panels.
looked at the company's website. First of all, it is real,
Yeah.
and it's not live yet, but they're planning on putting
How do you
satellites up there
monetize that?
by selling it. You
Yeah, but sure, but compared to the cost to get it up there, I mean, how long would
Yeah.
it take to make your money
right?
back?
I don't know. That's their problem.
Who knows
right?
what they're charging, Bob?
So one of the things is for solar power.
Oh yeah.
So if you have not like for one house, but you have show like it's all a mock-up, obviously, because it's not real yet, but like a solar field. You know, like
There's plenty of those.
Yeah, and you could essentially extend
A little bit, yeah.
the light by an
Bullshit.
hour.
It's
or-
bullshit
or
because
two.
it would be less expensive to just use grid power than
Right.
pay for this service. I mean, how cheap could it possibly be? You're commandeering a satellite for 30 minutes, and how much
how
sunlight
big?
are you going to get for 30 minutes?
here's the
Right.
website, which is
What? That's their graphic?
It's kind of funny how like it looks like it's drawn in paint, but
Paint.
All right, but I did think of one use
Mm-hmm.
where it might be cost effective and also effective in terms of the amount of area that gets covered. What do you think?
I mean, you said solar
throwing a
farms before.
party.
Filming a movie.
That's true.
Right, you need to
Yeah.
film. It needs to appear to be daylight on the set, and you know what I mean. I don't know. So I think that might be its niche. You know, like.
But I suspect that the quality of light compared to real sunlight would be shit.
It's going to be dim as
And it
hell.
wouldn't be workable because of that.
well,
It just-
that's what we have to see.
Yeah.
How.
that's my
but-
suspicion.
I mean, the thing
We're
is,
here
you
because
can
for some
still
reason
light
people-
the set, but this just gives you a
extra.
top-down, diffuse light that
Still, I think
might
it would
be good for filming. I
think
don't
it
know.
would be less expensive to just use lights.
I've seen them
Depends
use.
on how much they charge.
I've seen some movies use a light balloon, a huge balloon device that is lit, and they put that at like 100 feet or whatever.
Yeah.
To get some really good illumination onto a wide
Seems like
set.
a lot more stuff in space. One, and like, how are they gonna just move it all over the planet? You only have a certain window of being able to use it, though. Like,
Yeah.
presumably, it doesn't track this location.
It
Well, I
seems
guess-
like,
I don't know,
which
maybe
is
it's
true of
more-
so many startups, they're not filling a need.
Yeah.
Right, they're not
Creating-
responding
finding.
to a need.
Yeah.
They're responding to, hey, we could do this, and now let's find. Right, it's a
market.
solution looking for a problem.
Yeah.
And that's always tricky. That's one of the things that killed the Segway, right? It was a
Oh my
engineering
God.
wise a fantastic device. But it was a solution looking for a problem. It's also like cryptocurrency. Like, what problem is it solving other than selling illegal stuff or using it to blackmail people on the internet?
True.
Yeah, so so this is the same thing. It's like they're doing but sometimes you do find a market for it. But if you don't, it just becomes the next.
I don't like it.
Like
I don't like. I'm against it. All right. Well, let's do something that maybe you're not so against.
Okay.
Let's look at this. A horse. You see this horse?
Yes, I agree.
What is
Horse is a horse, of course.
What does it look like to you?
It's a horse standing in a field of sunflowers.
Okay. And what color is it?
I don't know.
Cream color.
White.
Cream color. Okay. It's black and white. I mean, so it's desaturated. So I guess whatever. It's not colored. But
if you're here for the first time, you're seeing a black and white photo of a horse in a field of sunflowers.
Oops.
Well, this is my second time seeing it.
If you're back here for the second time, you're hopefully seeing it in colour. If so, please let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see if your brain can fill in the colours, then all you need to do is to stare into the eye of the horse in this picture. Whatever you do,
I'll give you a
That's so funny. I looked away, closed my eyes, looked back, and saw that.
I know. When I first watched this, I was like, "There's no way I didn't notice it like inverted. There's no way." But okay, the thing is, look at the eye. So stare at the white of the eye.
We've all done this before.
Yeah. So stare at the white of the eye, and when the video repeats, is what they meant. Not the second time you're viewing it, but like technically, when the video repeats, we'll see.
Keep looking right into the horse's eye. Keep your phone at a constant distance and keep your eyes totally focused. It's really, really important that you keep looking at the dot right in the middle of the horse's eye when we return to the start of the video. Don't get distracted. If your eyes move, the colour will be lost. The psychedelic colours that you're seeing at the moment are designed to fatigue some of the receptors in your retina. That's the light sensitive layer at the back of your eye. When I remove them, only the ones needed to colour the picture should be stimulated. That's the plan anyway. Now, I've only made this today, it's brand new and I haven't had a chance to trial it yet, so please let me know in the comments if it works. I'll be keeping my fingers crossed. Here we go then, good luck. Let's loop back to the start of the video. Remember though, don't take your eye off the horse's eye even for a second. Keep your eyes glued to it. Good luck. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, now I gotta.
If you're here for the first time, you're seeing a black and white photo of a horse in a field of sunflowers.
I blinked.
That's cool.
It's cool. And then as soon as you blink,
as soon as you move your eye, it goes away. But it does come back
really cool.
when you stare at the eye.
I'll do it again. Just you could just stare at it.
Fatigue
I'll try to
receptors are
quickly. It works better on native TikTok app because I don't have to restart it manually.
I've seen it done a lot better with other stuff. Plus, you didn't have to hear this guy, for Christ's sake.
Jay, are you feeling ornery today?
I am. I'm still not feeling well, and I'm just annoyed by stupid people, and this is stupid.
This guy's not stupid.
I mean, you're annoyed by stupid people. TikTok is the place for you, Jay.
This guy was good. He did a good little
I mean, I don't think that his pop filter on his mic is big enough, by the way, too.
Okay, that is a fair point. That is, resize your pop filter, sir. But it's a fun little illusion. It's a fun little visual.
Okay.
Trick. All right, let's look at some other topics. So, where does the water come from? That's also related to the Niagara Falls. Okay, yes. Now, you guys talked about where water comes from on Earth.
We did.
A little bit.
Yes.
Okay, you want to give like a little primer on that while I set this up for a second?
Comes from space.
Oh,
spies.
We come from.
So there's
space.
a bunch of theories.
Outer spies.
That scientists have viewed. You know, like there's lots of viable theories out there. One of them could be asteroids or comets. It could be you know, coming from the center of the Earth. You know, there could have been gases down there that combined to create water when they leached out into the surface of the Earth. It turns out that very likely it's a combination of things, but they think the number one candidate was what? The satellite? The satellite candidate, you remember?
The satellite candidate? No,
the asteroid candidate was the
asteroid.
idea.
Yeah,
asteroid.
not satellite. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Well, we were just talking about the sun thing. I'm getting all.
Or comets.
I'm still seeing sunflowers, by the way. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, in your eyes, like just popping around.
Essentially, you could break it down to: was it formed in the Earth itself by the constituents of the initial sort of, you know, planetary fragments, or was it after the surface solidified a little bit, did then later bombardments bring water to the surface of the Earth? And the recent study showed that there was enough hydrogen in the constituents of the you know, the original formation of the Earth to account for all of the water that we have. And so maybe most of it actually was just intrinsic to the material of the Earth itself, and not later bombardment.
Yeah, it was cool. They found they were able to find traces of hydrogen in places that they didn't have the instruments to see it previously, and that's what it was. It was a technology upgrade that allowed them to detect it. And then it turns out there was a ton of hydrogen already on the Earth.
Well, they were looking at, so they were looking at these chondrite asteroids, and they have like spherules embedded in a matrix. And they were looking at the spherules, and there's not much hydrogen there. And then they said, let's look at the matrix in between. I don't think they're really expecting to find anything. And but they found that it was loaded with way more hydrogen than they thought would be possible.
All right.
So they said, well, if we take that into account, that actually could, they run the numbers, that could account for all the water on the Earth.
But that brings me to TikTok.
Yes.
So I have a trio of videos and on the different sides, let's say, of TikTok.
Okay.
From maybe credulous to incredulous to something else. So let's listen to these guys and see what they think. This fucking guy.
I may sound really stupid saying this, but this doesn't make any sense. So this water is constantly flowing downstream, coming from this water source.
Oops, hold on.
I think I know where this is going.
Where does this water come from? So let's just say there's a lake all the way upstream somewhere up there. How does the lake continue to supply this water for this river without the lake ever emptying? Because look how fast this water is traveling. Look how much water is going down there every second. Again, I know I may sound stupid, but I challenge one person to tell me the answer without looking it up.
Rain. There's no may about it. I mean, you get runoff rain, and then you get runoff from mountains that come down. I mean, it's just like that's.
There's a water cycle.
Yeah.
The water evaporates, it rains down, then so it's constantly flowing back down to
when my kids were 8, they learned this.
The thing is,
it's not
in
even
today's
complicated.
world,
Yeah.
like everyone has these little holes in their conception of reality.
Sure. Yeah, blind spots, whatever.
You kind of work them out as you get older, but you never completely get rid of them. But when you're like 20 is like the perfect age, where you're kind of like an adult, you know a lot, but it's still interesting how many gaps in your just knowledge of the world that you have. And so traditionally, you would look stupid in front of your 3 closest friends when you said, "Hey, we're." But now you look stupid in front of the whole world because you asked that stupid question, that filling in that hole in your knowledge base. But the other thing is that because on TikTok, like rather than people just saying, "Dude, it's the fucking rain," you're going to get a bunch of people saying it's a conspiracy and whatever. They're going to endorsing all of this weird shit.
Can we see some comments?
So yeah, the comments are, I'm up there pissing 24/7. That's just somebody that had 143,000 likes. Okay, bro. My ranked teammates, which is funny, he's obviously calling him dumb. That's a gaming reference. Just watched someone explain how Niagara Falls never runs out of water, and now I'm with the guy. What is really going on? Somebody else is like, water cycle explained, rain, melted ice, fountain. Somebody said, "You're American by any chance?"
Oh my God. Yeah.
Please don't get rid of the Department of Education. You're American. Oh God, it's us. It's us. It's us. Anyway, so I said there was a trio because there's some people who responded somewhat nicely. So and I tried to explain it to this gentleman.
Why doesn't Niagara Falls run out of water? You don't have to answer.
Okay.
So a lot of people wonder this because if you ever go to Niagara Falls, it's amazing how much water is flowing over the edge, and it's very natural to think, why doesn't it run out? Like, where's all this water coming from? And the answer is actually very simple, but still hard to comprehend. It's just the water cycle. It's just water evaporates from the oceans and rains down on the land, and it falls into the Lake Ontario, Lake Huron, Lake Superior, and those lakes are connected to the Niagara River, which is where the Niagara Falls are. Like, that's what Niagara Falls is. It's the Niagara River falling over a bunch of rocks. But it's just the water cycle, evaporating water from the oceans, that water raining down on the land into the lakes, like Lake Ontario, all the Great Lakes. And those lakes are connected to the Niagara River, and the Niagara River falls over a bunch of rocks, and that's Niagara Falls.
Cool.
I think that's so cool because, like, when you go and look at it, it looks impressive. Like, how is that much water falling over these rocks and not running out? But then it really puts into perspective how much rain there is and how big the Great Lakes are to have that much water in them and not run out.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the same
I
thing
think
as
that's so
the
cool.
Mississippi River.
Yeah.
Except it's not a waterfall.
Mhm.
There's no waterfall on the Mississippi River, but the same amount of water, basically a massive amount of water is moving down the Mississippi River
Mhm.
because that's, a lot of rivers are feeding into it. So that represents a huge catchment area of rain, basically.
Where's the Emma come?
Somebody was saying, there are photos of Niagara Falls dry when it has not as much of a rainy season. or
No.
whatever.
The pictures I've seen of it was when they purposely diverted it and they made it go dry so that they could kind of repair it to prevent it from collapsing faster than it otherwise would have.
Oh, interesting.
And then they started it up again. That's my understanding of,
So-
of a lot of those pictures when you see no water.
And the final part of the trio, which is, you could say it's a power no, which I think it'll become clear rather quickly, but it maybe is an indictment of TikTok in general. Let's watch this guy.
Can somebody tell me why Niagara Falls still exists? It's one of the top 1,000 producers of noise pollution in the United States. The falling water is constantly giving off 90 decibels of sound, and it just never stops. This is extremely disruptive to the people and the wildlife in the area. If you were to stand next to the falls for 8 hours at a time, you would most likely acquire hearing damage. To eliminate this threat, we should dry up all the water so it doesn't have the option to fall anymore. I do understand that despite the dangerous noise, people still do like to look at the waterfall, which is why I came up with a second solution. We would install a large tablet on the dry cliff side, powered by Vidu, that displays AI-generated videos of waterfalls and other beautiful things. Each person would also be able to submit a picture of themselves along with a picture of a waterfall of their choosing, and it would combine those pictures to generate a video of what it would have been like if the waterfall was still there.
That's
This
a
way
lot
people
better.
can still visually enjoy the beauty of the landmark without risking hearing damage.
So, I mean, it's clearly
Wow.
a goof. And probably actually a plug for whatever that company is.
Yeah.
But then where are you supposed to
still
go
funny.
when the aliens arrive that hear sound and kill anything that makes sound?
Oh, good
was it The
point.
Quiet Place? What was that
I
called?
thought was that Bird Box or Quiet Place? I don't know. Bird Box was that you saw them. Yeah, you're right. All right, so
Yeah, I guess that would be Niagara Falls would have been a safe haven in a quiet place.
That was the biggest
true.
downside to that entire premise. Those people
Last
weren't living by the water, the noisy water. They weren't living by it. It's like, why? Why would you not live right there if there were
Mhm.
aliens that were like that? Whatever.
Yeah, you need
All right.
some masking noise.
let's move on to we got Hidden Mass. We could do that one.
Yeah.
And then we'll do some Il Papa, but I'm going to prep something before that. Actually, before we get to the... Oh, no, I'll save that other one. All right, Hidden Mass. Let's watch what this guy has to say.
fucking guy.
I mean, we've seen him say some other weird stuff, so let's see if he has some interesting things to say. And
It's
got the
been
music.
proposed
proposed.
that we could weigh a hard drive before data is encoded on it, and then again after data is encoded on it. Or take a hard drive that has data encoded on it, weigh it, erase the data, and then weigh it again.
Right.
There will be a mass differential.
Okay.
So there's mass inside a computer that's not anything to do with the microchips or the transistors or magnetic tapes or anything. It's a hidden mass.
So, Bob.
All right. Yeah, it all has to do with mass energy equivalent. So, but it depends on the type of hard drive. If it's an electronic hard drive, like a solid state drive or RAM, then it encodes a 1 as it saves a charge, an electric charge. If it saves a 0, then there is no charge. So if you filled a gigabyte SSD with just ones, and then you weighed it, it would weigh about 729 femtograms more than if it had all zeros.
Mhm.
And that's a femtogram is a trillionth of a gram. So yeah, there would be a little bit more there that would be potentially measurable. But a magnetic drive is a different thing because the magnetic domains don't really impact the mass. But the thing is that as the magnetic drive is writing, it's changing like a magnetic north domain to a magnetic south. When that is happening, heat is created, and heat is energy. Energy has mass.
Yeah.
So when it's active, when a magnetic drive is actively writing data, its weight would change. But we're talking even less than femtograms. It could be potentially attograms, quadrillionths of a gram. So yeah, it's there, but barely even detectable. So
here's the question: when the SSD drive is empty of all data, what is the state of its ones and zeros?
Yeah, I don't know. Just
Are they
random?
randomized, or are they all one? Are they all zero? I mean, what's the default state?
I don't know. I didn't come across that in my research.
Maybe they're all zeros, and it actually gets.
It would get heavier.
Get heavier, or it's all ones. It gets lighter.
Right. That's possible.
'Cause you're
But I
flipping
doubt it.
Statistically, half of them, or is it not?
I doubt it's all one or all the other. I think it's probably just random, but I don't know.
Why don't you know?
Didn't come across it in my limited research time.
Well,
and what's the point though? It's like, yeah, A equals MC squared. That's basically just a long-winded way of saying that. So
right.
I don't know what other than just.
It's interesting though that the more ones that would have an SSD, electronic memory.
What about a
heavier it would be.
spinning hard drive?
Well, that's magnetic, right? That's magnetic, and like I said, that there is no extra. It's all the heat and mass energy for the magnetic drive.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Because the 1 and the 0 have the same mass, apparently.
It's the way the solid state drive encodes it.
The hard drive, the spinning hard drive. How do they encode the ones and zeros?
That's magnetic domains, north or south.
Yeah.
One or zero, and so it's the act of changing from one to the other.
But there's no difference
heat.
in energy state between the 1 or the 0.
No, it's all. It's all about the heat that's created when you're changing from one to the other.
Okay. Yeah, so there wouldn't be any weight difference, even at the pico-atto scale or whatever, for a spinning hard drive, if it's at rest, if you're not actively encoding data.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
So did we cite the hidden mass as
Yes.
God or something? It's
it's true. It's true.
It's true.
It's true for solid state drives. Electronic drives, and it's kind of a side effect of magnetic drives. That's the bottom line.
But it's Jesus. We're all
of course.
Okay.
Duh.
I just wanted to make sure. And speaking of Jesus, let's get on to the main topic, maybe. Il Papa, which is the Pope. The Pope. So by now, probably everybody knows.
The Pope. Why'd something happen to the Pope?
Who knows?
I heard that
died.
J.D. Vance killed him.
So there is that. There are a lot of theories about what happened. That this is the Vatican's website.
He died within hours of seeing the Pope. Coincidence?
Coincidence?
Now, he did actually have a face-to-face with him, right?
Because I have proof too.
Because the initial news that I saw on it was that the Pope did not see him, and he sent a subordinate to teach him about compassion.
Yes,
that's what I read. Then the next thing I know, he's dead.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait, did he? But I guess he did actually have a sit down. But it was a brief sit down. It wasn't as long as it was supposed to have been, or something, which was a nice little diss.
Yeah, basically. So this is the Vatican's website, by the way, which is very 80s, which you'd think multi-billion-dollar organization would be able to update this.
Web 1.0.
Yeah, but anyway. So yeah, he died 88. The so-called woke Pope, the wokest among them, I guess, died of a stroke and cardiac arrest, for anybody who was interested in knowing that. So now comes the question of what happens next when it comes to the popes, and how they are picked from
Conclave. I saw the movie Conclave.
That's true.
So
Conclave, interesting. So there's 135 cardinals. He appointed or consecrated, I guess, 108 during his term. So there may be a preponderance of evidence to say that there will be another woke pope, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, the question is how conservative to liberal is the pope going to be? Because the conservative, end of the spectrum, obviously they don't support gay rights or women's rights or any of that stuff.
Who votes on the pope?
It's the cardinals.
So the cardinals are the only ones that can become the pope, and,
Yes.
and they pick one of them.
They pick one of their own.
And they have to be under the age, I think, of 80 or something like that to vote, which is an interesting little thing. Yeah, he 108 of the 135 who are going to be eligible to vote in the next papal conclave were considered consecrated by Francis. And somebody put together a little D&D sheet of the popes. Oh, where did it go? Maybe not. Maybe they didn't put it together.
Like the character class and
Like a little
their
character
attributes and
class
everything,
of
their
it.
skills.
What isn't it? Oh, hold on. Let me find it. It's
I didn't see that movie, Conclave.
It was very good.
Conclave, yeah. Let me
Very
find
good.
this. Anyway. Well, here, let me show you some images that we can confirm that it was, in fact, J.D. Vance. Your evil gas was what he was...
you
apparently
poisonous gas.
That happened. You know what I mean? These are possible theories so far. Invisible laser beam. So...
Not to be confused with
science.
Jewish lasers.
That's true. Space lasers.
I wonder what the Pope told him.
Well, the Pope publicly rebuked him.
Yes.
You know, at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Papa Vials. Where's the list? Popability index. Let me find it again. All right, talk amongst yourselves about
Like
Zippo.
all popes are lawfully
That's
evil.
a great comment.
Lovely. That's that's a good point. Let me get some more.
Yeah, when
links.
you are a part of the Vatican,
Mm-hmm.
it's a different reality in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's definitely not like, it's not, I guess the right way to put it is it wouldn't feel normal to a regular person. They have a lot of weird stuff going on there. Would be an interesting thing to talk about on the show, maybe.
Oh, this link is dead. Dang it. These bastards.
Your link is
My
dead.
link is dead. Anyway, there was a fun little list of what the future potential popes were, who they were going to be. But anyway, there we go. What to know about the funeral arrangements? Let's see this. So, when the Pope dies, they like lock off his room or whatever. They destroy his seal, apparently, which so they can't forge documents. He had a fisherman's ring used by the Pope to seal documents.
Mm-hmm.
So a little interesting thing. He lies in state for a couple days. They pick the new Pope like within 15 to 20 days, I believe. Yeah, within 15 to 20 days, there it is. Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re. There's a funny guy whose last name is like Pizzaioli or something like.
I know. Yeah, that
It's fun-
people are
something.
talking about him.
Cardinal Pizza. So it could be Pope Pizza, but anyway. So there's like the main cardinal seems to put together all the other cardinals. The only cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible. It also has to be a 2/3 majority. I mean, this is one of those.
And they
fun
have to have a
things.
penis,
And they
apparently.
do. Oh, so you know this part too.
Mhm.
How long will it take to choose a new pope? Like a week. Probably, I think, lasted 5 days for Pope Pius.
Lot of politicking.
He also wiped his browser history. Apparently.
Right. Yeah. That's
Pretty
definitely.
funny.
Yeah. We scrubbed that one. But yes, there are some interesting things. And do you know where that whole penis thing comes from?
Yeah.
What?
It's because in the Middle Ages, sometime I forget when, they elected a female pope, a female passing as a male cardinal.
Right. That's
and,
the myth.
And then it came out after she was pope.
Oh, that's the legend.
So they made that from now on, we have to have a dick check
Mhm.
for anyone before they get
yes.
consecrated.
Testicules. But yeah, so there is this Pope Joan is what she's known as.
Yeah.
855 to 857. It's a legend. There's no real strong
Yeah.
evidence for it. But this is, and
the
it's kind
church
of
is hiding it.
right, exactly. But it's also it was like probably a condemnation of the church at the time. It's like
Yeah.
you didn't have any women, blah 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 blah. So, but there is the history of this chair, which comes from the Roman era, which is apparently a toilet, or they think it's a toilet, or it could have been a dressing chair. They're not really sure, but they call it the dung chair. But the internet has, and pre-internet even, has said that they use that chair. A cardinal, a junior cardinal, comes up and to establish, reaches up and establish that the new pope had testicles before announcing,
oh boy,
duos habet et bene pendentes, which is he has two and they dangle nicely. So that there's some fun little history in that, which is not real, but whatever. It's a fun little legend of the poping. God, I want to find that Pope abilities thing, Papabiles, of like the potential popes, because there are some fun new popes.
Lots
out
of
there.
politics
Lots
about
of
to happen.
politics. Yeah, there's a a pope from the not a pope, a cardinal from the Philippines is very popular. They're questioning whether they'll bring it back to Italy with an Italian pope. Go traditional. A couple black cardinals potentially. All ranging the spectrum of like woke.
I think it will be good for the Catholic Church if, first of all, they present themselves as a worldwide religion, and they are. It's 1 billion people are Catholic. It's still, I think, it's the most populous religion in the world.
No.
Yeah.
Catholicism or Christianity?
No, Catholicism. Catholicism itself.
Maybe.
Look it up. That's last time I looked it up. That's what I remember from that. It's like 1 billion people, and yeah. So having most of the popes from Italy is kind of weird. I mean, obviously historically there's a reason for that, but having popes from different cultures, different continents around the world, different backgrounds is a good thing.
Absolutely.
And I also think, I mean, obviously I'm biased. We were all lapsed Catholics, by the way. So we were, raised Catholic and went through the catechism and all that stuff. So we're not talking totally out our ass here. But I do think it would be good for the church to try to get into the 21st century in terms of their beliefs. But also, they got to get the stink of pedophilia off of them somehow.
Yes.
I mean, that's like the first thing that people think of now when they think of the Catholic Church. Like there is corruption, pedophilia, oppression, this kind of cloistered authority. It's a very authoritarian institution. It's a very obviously male-dominated institution. And obviously it's not the kind of thing you're going to change overnight. Even one pope is not going to be able to totally do this. I think Francis moved things in the right direction, but they really should make an effort to try to modernize themselves institutionally and becoming a force of unmitigated good in the world.
Right.
Like objective good, not just promoting your belief and Catholicism and your institution, but promoting some actual objective Christian good.
I mean, spend some of that money. You got all that freaking medieval gold, man.
I mean, imagine they could donate $10 billion and do a lot of good, and they wouldn't even know. Would they even feel $10 billion?
I don't think we know what their endowment is, but
they got.
I know they got.
But shit, sell some of that art. You could make billions just from selling some of the crap that you don't even display. It's not even out there for people to see. Get rid of some of that shit. And couldn't a pope do a purge of the pedophiles? Just purge. Get rid of them. You are no longer affiliated with this at all.
They would never do that, though.
Why?
Because the world sucks. Excuse me.
But can the Pope...
Well, we're talking theoretically.
Can the Pope do that?
If you were Pope...
Yes, you could do it.
Yeah, that'd be the first thing I would do.
Fire them all.
Second thing is to donate $10 billion and do some serious good.
Well, you don't have to necessarily give it away to other charities. You are a charity. You could
do something with it.
But yeah, say we're going to really ramp up your programs to do things like feed the poor and
oh my God,
whatever.
Right?
But how about just allowing priests to marry?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Yep.
Ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
So, maybe you get rid of that whole
wow,
messing
Steve,
around.
I mean, you're so progressive. Steve.
So woke, Steve. Okay. Anyway,
asking people to not have sex, not get married.
The whole celibacy thing is.
Come on. Yeah. What year is this?
That's ridiculous. The problem.
Because it is actually encouraging some effed up stuff.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Can you imagine other jobs saying you can't be married because you need to fully focus on this?
Officially, and we have actually a close friend of ours is a priest, so we got some of the inside scoop.
That's
right. It's not just that you can't marry, you can't masturbate. Like you cannot have an orgasm. That's the rule that they're living under.
God damn.
Yeah.
Which is
not that they follow that rule, but that's officially that's
no fap mandate. Jesus.
Could you imagine
not November?
Could you legit imagine feeling absolutely racked with guilt after masturbating because you masturbated? Like what the hell, man? You're basically telling those people to have it's just not. It's not only is it not biologically healthy, but emotionally it's not good. Not good.
Well, that's what they do as a parishioner too. Like they try to drill that into you. Don't do that.
Drill what?
Well, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said it like that, but they try to say don't masturbate. Oh, okay, I got to go up and check on something. But here's some of the guys. Matteo Zuppi.
Hello, Zuppi. Well, I can't.
Hold on.
Catholics are allowed to masturbate, but only on Palm Sunday. Grimbeard, very nice.
Very good.
That's a good one.
I'd
be going crazy on Palm Sunday.
I don't know. Anyway, there's a bunch of these funny things. Wait, what happened? I didn't do this. Okay, I gotta confirm this thing. I gotta go check on something in the oven.
I mean, what a lonely life. Like you can't have a partner in life.
Right. Jesus is your partner, Jay.
God, it's hard enough. Life is
You're
hard
married to
all
the
by
church.
itself. Like, why make it so hard on them though? It doesn't do. I mean, it's not like the rest of the world is like, yeah, and it's good thing they're doing that because of X, or I think better of priests because they don't have sex and have wives and have partners. It doesn't do anything for anybody. It doesn't.
I mean,
do
obviously
anything.
it has its roots. I don't think it was the original rule, going back whatever 1,500 years or whatever, however far back I have to go. But at some point that became standard in the church, and I figure you read different things about why that is. I'm not sure we 100% know.
But imagine arguing against that. What? What's the argument?
Well, now it's tradition. So I mean, again, it is a very tradition-bound institution, which I guess understandably.
I get that, but
that's the conservative. We follow traditions versus progressive. We need to adapt to the times, right? That's the conflict that happens within the church.
They're all screaming on the inside. That's the problem. That's the problem.
But I do think, like the whole pedophilia scandal is a great opportunity for some introspection institutionally.
Yeah, imagine
and
that.
say, well, what do we have to do? Like, not just to paper it over, not just to cosmetically make it, not as bad, but it's like, all right, this is not just a few bad apples. This was institutional problem in the church.
Yeah, they just move them around to different dioceses.
They
do it again.
Clearly, there's a systemic issue here. And so that's a great opportunity to say, all right, this whole, we have to make some systemic changes to address this. Maybe we should let priests marry.
Which one?
Holy shit, that was good. Philemon Vanderbeck had a wonderful comment.
Nice.
That's good, man. That's a good joke,
now?
dude.
Okay.
Oh, God.
All right. Was that? Let's see.
Ian, you missed a really good one in the comments.
Oh, great. Let's see if I have any other posts.
Every time I read it, I laugh again.
JD Vance kill them, consecrated. Okay, yeah, that other image is gone. Let's see if we can check out this one. This
Christ.
Oh, yeah, this is him lying in state.
Yep.
Which state?
Dead
Dead state.
State of decay.
Right.
Right.
State of putrefaction.
I mean, there is something fun about Catholicism, I will say, having grown up in it. It's like the pomp and circumstance is so silly, but also kind of cool and like metal.
If you're in Rome, go to St. Peter's.
Oh, it's
Go
amazing.
to goddamn St. Peter's.
It's amazing, man. You really gotta check it out.
Magnificent,
Like
beyond reckoning. It's oh my god. So
That's
every
gorgeous.
square inch is like holy crap.
And
holy
the
crap,
Sistine
holy
Chapel
crap.
is nowhere near as big as you think it is.
Oh, really? Oh,
not
that's
big.
also where the conclave is, apparently, in the Sistine Chapel. So that's pretty neat. That's where they decide. On
Yeah, and you got a bunch
Pope.
of people that are visiting the Vatican. And they're like, we wanted to see the Sistine Chapel, and the freaking Pope died. We can't get in there and see it. now."
Swiss Guard.
When Liz and I were in Rome this last year, we didn't go to the Sistine Chapel. It was like the reviews were like, it's so crowded and it's just too much of a thing. And I went through it like 30 years ago.
You walk through that entire tour thing that they have that you walk through. It's all amazing. They have the
It is,
best,
but
We did it a
the
few
best
years ago when
art.
we went.
But it's crazy crowds though, from what I've read. But St. Peter's, just wait on that line to get in there because it was just like awe-inspiring. Even this is like the third time I had seen it. It was just still wow.
Did you
amazing.
see any relics or anything like that, like bones of saints and stuff like that? Because that is what I think is most fun. Is like the
Yeah, we didn't see any up close, but they
How
were there.
crazy
I
they
could
do.
sense them.
Yeah, I mean, there's zombies all over that place.
like saints of. Hold on, let me see. Like this one. Let's see. Like these are just some saint in the Catholic Church,
Yeah.
just bones like lying around that
Yeah.
they send around the world apparently too.
I took
To be-
pictures
it's
of
like-
every sculptured
pretty
skull
metal.
in St. Peter's. It was cool. It was a bunch.
Fucking cool.
All right, can we have the bread now?
All right, it's cooking. I'm actually making it
I
here.
can smell
and
it.
I also
You can
have
smell
day
it.
old
You
one
can
that I made.
smell it.
So we'll see which one is okay. But we're working on it. It needs a couple more minutes. Anyway,
okay.
So I think we did all of the things. Oh, here's a thing that I thought was a lie on the TikToks, but it's actually kind of a legit thing. Here we go. Let's just listen to this guy. Another fucking guy.
Friendly reminder to all iPhone users out there, if you get stopped by the police or TSA and they want to start looking through your shit, just disable your Face ID if you have it still on by clicking the side button 5 times, and that will force prompt password before the Face ID can be used. Fuck them.
The reason I brought that up is just because somebody was talking about, are you worried that Kara is not going to be able to get back into the country after she goes to China? And I was like, well, I think at the moment, I think we're okay from U.S. citizen standpoint, but that actually does work. So if you take your phone and you click it 5 times, it does lock it, so you can't use Face ID.
I have a cool iPhone thing I just found out about.
Here.
All right, check this out. Ready? Oh, come on. We're live here. There you go. See that?
Oh, yeah. Turns
So
on the-
there's a sensor. I don't know how far back it goes. I have an iPhone 16, but there's a sensor on your phone that's right here. And if you tap it, you can tell it to do any kind of, there's all these actions you can pick. So you got to turn on back tap. You got to turn that option on your phone.
I did, and it doesn't.
Well, some cases are too thick and
Doesn't
the
help
vibration
me.
doesn't get through. But pretty cool. I mean, the smartphones are riddled with features that nobody has any idea about. So
yeah,
I would really hope that nothing crazy happens between now and Nauticon, because it has been my fear. Excuse me.
Crazy.
If you guys haven't figured it out, I'm
Life-altering.
getting over a bad cold that I had. Yeah, but I remember about 6 months ago, basically when I found out that that somebody was going to be the next president, I'm like, wow, man, something's going to happen, and we're going to have to not do it. We're so close now. We just need a couple more weeks.
You mean
and we're
something
good.
that happens that cancels Nauticon? What would possibly?
Well, I mean, if the economy crashed and people are like, I gotta reel in back as much money as I can from this because I can't, because I don't have a job
There's
anymore.
no refunds.
Well, there was. I give people the time to refund.
It's funny. You think about that in Nauticon. I literally have thought about that in Halloween. It's like I hope nothing happens that's going to screw up. Halloween.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
things Bob thinks about.
Yeah, I mean, I am. I'm in that the sweet spot of the prep now because it's a heavy lift, and then you get to all of the sliding down the slide part to get there, which is basically me pulling the trigger on everything that I've set up, right? So I'm placing all the orders that I've set up. I have a huge order of stuff coming in that I need all these different things for the conference. So I got to buy all this different stuff that I'm doing. I'm super excited. I can't wait. We have some really fun bits that we came up with that I can't wait to see how they turn out. And I'm really psyched about the Beatles sing-along. We're all going to be doing something inside of that sing-along, which is going to be really cool. And we got a lot of people traveling, and I just can't wait to see all my friends. I mean, that's the point of this conference. We have so many people that we only see when we're going to some type of conference or another, and this is a high-density one because, we've all been becoming friends with our patrons and listeners for a very long time. So if you're not going and you have the time, you should really think about going because it's going to be one hell of a conference. We're going to have a great time. All right, now Ian, on the other hand, who's widely known here at the SGU as someone with a really bad attitude.
We got to let him cool for just a
Well, put him here. We'll let him cool here.
Okay, let me do the bullet bread part.
Okay. We have a Willet bread right now. Ian baked something fresh in Steve's oven this morning.
That's true.
We're very excited.
And there's day old ones and there's fresh ones. So
Yeah.
sorry. Okay. And
Are they mixed together? So
they're
you can't
mixed
know?
together. I'll show you'll notice the difference because they're slightly larger.
So I'm going to tell everyone something real quick. We have a new swag item. We have created a science or fiction coin.
Aha.
And we hope that you enjoy it.
Yes.
I think it's really cool. I can't
It's
wait.
available at Nauticon. No, this is just one of the images somebody sent us about the upcoming cardinals, and they're kind of.
It's too small.
Okay, let me flip it.
To me, it's just a bunch of color. There you go.
There you go.
We got Cardinal Pietro Parolin.
From Italy.
Peter Erd. How do you pronounce that? Oh, with the umlaut.
The umlaut? I don't know.
Urdu.
Maybe. Chat, tell us how to pronounce words.
Matteo Zuppi. He's my favorite so far. He's the guy I want.
Yeah.
Raymond Leo Burke. Willem Jacobus. Yick. Right, Pop? I don't know how to pronounce that guy's last name. Peter Codwo Turkson. Malcolm Wrench. Gerhard
Zuppi.
Ludwig Müller.
Matteo Zuppi.
So anyway,
It'd be good to have a pope from Africa. I didn't really
Yeah, that would
think
actually
so.
be very cool.
worked in blazing saddles. No, that's different. Okay. Anyway, we'll do this.
We've never had an American pope, right?
I don't think so.
No American pope.
It's never going to happen
Not
now.
right now.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Imagine a pope coming from the United States
We
right
don't
now.
need another thing. Anyways,
Trying to pretend.
Somebody sent
that
us
we-
this one too. I think it was Silac. A little. Anybody play Baldur's Gate 3?
Yep.
Vampiric touch.
Yes.
That's that. Anyway, all right. Let's get on to the Will It Bread segment.
Thank you.
Enough of this dilly dally.
Yeah, I mean, it's been-
You know what time it is, everybody. It's Will It Bread with a little Will It Bread music. I love bread. Here we go. Okay.
There's Will It Bread music?
Yes, we have Will It Bread music.
I'm not hearing it.
Yay, Ian! There we go. Nice.
All right, I have to explain to us what these
Ooh,
are.
balls.
These are bread balls.
What's the one? What's the color?
Okay,
Spicy
so
hot or temperature
No,
hot?
temperature. The ones on the right.
There's something inside of them.
Yes, the ones on the right are the day-old ones. The ones on the left I just baked right now. So, in honor of the Pope, a little bit. It's sort of, not really entirely.
Wow.
He's Argentinian, right? So there's a cheese bread called chipas, which is a
Cheap ass.
cheap ass. It's a cheese bread, but I was like gonna make that, but instead I made pão de queijo, which is a Brazilian cheese bread. And what's unique about it is it uses basically a tapioca starch in
Yep.
it, so it's very chewy, as you can see. Although I managed to find the actual ingredients you're supposed to use, which is polvilho azedo, I think. I don't know how to speak Portuguese rather, which is a sour tapioca, or it's like cassava. So there's like some history of like probably the slave trade that brought the cassava, right? Wasn't the cassava from Africa? Brought it over to Brazil. And a lot of the countries down there use that. So it's this, and then there's a special cheese that is like a, is it Minas Curado Queijo, rather?
That's what kind of cheese this is?
So yeah, it's
tasty,
it's
man.
a half-cured aged cheese or whatever. It's kind of like Parmesan, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
a little
that's
bit,
the
little bit.
accurate cheese to use. That's the one I got. Yeah, so I tried to make it as traditional as they do in Brazil.
And would this be like with a meal?
So yeah, so the way that I've always had it is like you put maybe an egg on it. I had it for breakfast. Sometimes they do it sweet, so they'll do like a Nutella spread. I don't think that's traditional Portuguese or Brazilian rather. Sorry, and then or a jam. Or like you can use it as a sandwich, you know, or you can dip it in stuff, you know. I mean, like there's probably some stew that you put it with.
I like it.
Tasty, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's like chewy kind of situation going on, you know. So that's just another one that I figured. And the Pope probably had something like this because they make it in Argentina too. It's just a little bit different. Chipas are good as well. Yeah, it's slightly different. I think, or it's pretty similar, but it's like slightly different, only slightly.
Good job, Ian.
So yeah, it's a good one, and it's really easy to make. You just boil milk and oil and water and salt, and then you pour it over the tapioca starch, and just like you can mix it forever because like I don't think you can over mix tapioca starch. And then you put some eggs in it, and
Put
the
that egg in
cheese,
it.
and you roll it into a ball and bake it up and eat it. And that's the bread.
What you reckon is good in there?
Pão de queijo. Let me get a picture of it so that we can rank it real quick. Oh, there's this one has like a dipping sauce on the side, which I didn't see. I don't know what that would be exactly, but looks kind of interesting. I'll just use that as the image. Save this. Click. Create this tier list. Add images. Hold on.
Very nice though, Ian.
It's good though, right? Yeah, it's like a nice little cheese bread. Yeah. I like it. I've always. It's got it's much more sour than if you use tapioca starch, because of the type of starch this is. But it's pretty good. And there is a Brazilian, I think, listener that was like, "Oh, you got to find the right cheese and the right cassava."
The fresh ones are better.
The fresh ones are better. Yeah. The day-old ones, I thought the crust got a little weird.
Still what?
I mean, I know you can't catch my cold.
Oh, you ate that? Yeah.
So Argentina is crying. Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Did you like it?
I mean, it's not in my cheese sweet spot.
Yeah. Is it too sharp of a cheese? Or?
No. I like sharp cheese. It was too...
salty?
Mild?
Parmesan-y?
Like more like an aromatic cheese.
Oh, yes. I know. Like astringent? No.
Yeah, like what's the...
smelly. The smelly cheeses.
Yeah, the smelly cheese.
You can use mozzarella or Parmesan.
Parmesan.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That a lot of people do that as a substitute, and that's like maybe less of a sour affront. You know what I mean?
So, Ian, why do they have like red on them?
That's just the browning from the top. So I don't know. Maybe there's like a slightly chemical reaction when.
Was there any malt powder in this recipe?
No malt powder. Okay. Yep. Whoops. I lost Jay. All right, so what do you guys think from a ranking standpoint? What would you do? So does it bread? Yes, is the question. Thank you so much.
It breads. I mean...
I liked them. I had 3, man. I want more.
So there's a bunch upstairs. Liz wants some, too, so I would...
Okay, good.
I mean, I'd give it a C because I like those other breads more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give it a C.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's tasty.
Worse than the semolina one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's all personal taste.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess I guess not. For
the
me,
semolina one, I think maybe should go down.
Yeah, I think so.
I should bring that down.
I do.
But Bob, you liked it, so
I like this. I mean, I would put it in the B. If Steve thinks the C, C's fine.
Yeah, I think the semolina was just like my execution was bad too.
Well, in terms of like skill, I think this was top notch in terms of just crunchy on the outside and fluffy on the inside. Execution was top notch.
Yeah.
I would like to taste it
make
with
a
Parmesan, but
mozzarella
I don't think it was too kind of sour for me. And I'm not a big fan of aromatic cheeses either. But I think I liked them a little bit better than Steve.
It breads, by the way, yes.
It breads. Okay,
Yeah,
very good. It breads. Pairs well with a nice tomato soup. I mean, I guess you could probably do that, honestly.
Definitely.
Grilled cheese.
I had tomato soup last night. I wish I had some of these.
I mean, this would also not be a bad bread to have with a charcuterie, you know?
Oh, yeah. You could do that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, if you do a mozzarella, that'll be a less offensive one, maybe. You could even do like basil and tomato inside, you know what I mean? A little caprese bread day. All right, so we'll put that as a B.
Did it have a bitterness to you, Steve? The super taster sour or bitterness?
It's not sour or bitter. It's rancid.
Is that what you tasted?
If I had to put one word to it.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's definitely that.
Yeah. So my super taster, which is not me bragging. That's the technical term for people who can taste things and not everybody can taste.
Mutants.
It falls into really 2 categories: bitter or rancid.
Get your mic closer because you're off.
Rancid.
Yeah, I don't want to be eating it to Mike. So yeah, it's either bitter or rancid. This was in the rancid end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
not bitter. There were some things like.
But you like Parmesan, right?
I like Parmesan. But again, there are certain things like olives. I could eat really ripe black olives. But if you do anything to them, they immediately become rancid, right?
You can't cook them.
Can't cook them. Can't pickle them. They can't whatever. You can't do anything. But then there's like the bitter end would be things like, well, obviously like tonic water is the classic, but anything with alcohol in it is so super. Like people describe what wine tastes like to them, like all these flavors. I'm like, it's bitter. There's one note. and that's bitter. That's it.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
all I taste.
Yeah.
That explains it.
Yeah.
That explains it. Yeah, so next time we could make one with just regular tapioca starch
Yep.
and mozzarella, and I bet you'd probably like that one better. We'll
Yes,
see.
so cheeses are like the thing is really what's interesting is I love certain cheeses,
Yeah.
but as soon as it crosses a line, it's like really bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like blue cheese kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
thing, like Munster
I love blue
cheese
cheese.
is I can't
Gorgonzola, come on.
Gorgonzola,
Oh.
it's terrible. I mean like poison level terrible.
So-
I like
love
the hard
poison.
cheeses more than the soft cheeses in general.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They just that's more my flavor profile
Gouda.
that I like. And then like if I'm gonna have cheddar, I'm not gonna eat it unless it's a legit sharp cheddar. There's just no
cheddar
point.
is one that's on the line for me. Like yeah, certain cheddars are okay, but a lot of them fall below that line.
Did you ever do that, like, see people do the Parmesan in 2 cups, but one's labeled puke and one's labeled cheese? And it's like, oh, it's the same smell, but
Yeah.
just you're preconditioned to
Yeah.
think it one way or the other. All right, here's a question. What does this quote come from? Here's a little cultural knowledge.
That's from Chocolate Rain.
Very good, Jay. 10 points.
I'll take internet for 1,000, please.
Okay, there you go. All
It
right.
says that on chocolate, right?
The guy he doesn't
Chocolate
say it.
Rain.
He
writes
He
it.
writes it.
Here,
Yeah.
I move my
Chocolate Rain.
Tezon Day. That guy's funny. Why am I getting anonymous phone calls? PC Richard.
I mean, that's an old internet right there, baby.
That's true. That's
That's
when the internet was good.
pre-monetization web.
That's true. That's before the YouTubers figured out they could survive off of it, or beyond.
All right, is it a wrap?
I think it's a wrap. I don't know that we went through all this stuff. We went through that. We went through this. Pope dead. Couldn't find that image. Bye bye. Pope Joan. Poop chair. Devil.
Poop chair.
This thing. All right. So we got some TikToks to do. We got something here, and we got something that this guy, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm leaving. So everybody
can also leave now.
Have a wonderful night, depending on where you are. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you guys tonight on the show, right?
That's
We'll
true.
hear you.
We'll hear you.
Here, take this up.
I will.
So Steve, my take on the cloud thing.
Yeah.
My
Is that
angle.
stupid?
Huh?
Yeah.
No, but my angle here was I researched clouds, and
Those are stratus clouds.
But my take was that how many different types of clouds are there?
A bunch.
And but there's not only 10 major varieties, but under them, and these are called genera. These are the genuses. Under that are species.
Yeah.
And then under that are varieties, and then also supplementary cloud features, then accessory, and then special clouds. So my point is that there's so many different types of cloud varieties. I don't think she appreciates the fact that there's so many varieties, and the fact that she doesn't recognize that cloud means nothing because there's so many possibilities. So that's all my contribution would be. If you think that's
fine.
worth it.
That's fine.
All right, can you move Jay's mic out of the way?
Well, but yeah, just shift your mic over and you take Jay's
Oh yeah,
mic.
you can sit there.
And we'll tighten up a bit.
Stand by chat while I set up.
Ian, what is the average age of somebody looking at TikTok videos?
Species.
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it is wider than we would think. Like, I mean, you know, colloquially, we would think they're all Zoomers. I mean, I imagine Zoomers make up a
disproportionate
amount, but probably not the majority, but the minority majority. You know what I mean?
The plurality.
Plurality. Thank you. There's a lot of boomers on TikTok too, though. So Gen Xers and millennials. I don't know. I think it's probably the most diverse platform, I would say, compared to like Twitter, Facebook, maybe YouTube, if you consider that a platform of that type.
Yeah. So one of the cardinals up for Pope is called Pier Battista Pizzaballa.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
Oh my God.
He's got to get it just for the name alone.
I mean, Pizzaballa. We got to have Pope Pizzaballa. But the thing is, he's going to change his name.
I know, that's true. He does have to pick something out. Well,
yeah.
Pizza Jesus. I don't know. Wait.
Stracciatelli.
Bob, try to get that off camera. Can you see the mic?
Yeah.
Is too? Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
I'll have Pope Ravioli.
Pope Ravioli.
Oh my God. Pope Rigatoni. Rigatoni.
Rigatoni, that would be good.
Tony.
Hey, Tone. All right. Let me, all right, so we're doing the chemtrails together, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll...
You can do the other one together, too, if you want.
Okay.
Which one?
One thing I've realised.
Graham Hancock one.
So do you know?
Was that the one about human complex civilizations? I don't have too much to contribute to that. I mean, he's right that we go back 300,000 years, but it's all about the evidence. There's no evidence to support that, so why fucking believe it?
Yeah. All right, let me do it just this way.
I wouldn't be able to contribute too much. All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, stand by.
So do you know one thing I've realised is every place I go, this is everywhere. No matter where I go, it's everywhere. I've been to Bali, I've been to Tenerife, Spain, Morocco, Thailand. I've been loads of places, and every single place does this. And people don't understand when I say it's a worldwide agenda. Every single government is participating in this. Spraying us like bugs every fucking day. And I don't think it matters where you are in the world, this always happens. And it's having a major effect. It's killing the bees, it's killing the butterflies, it's killing the ecosystems. And I just don't know how people can't see that is not normal.
All right. That's not normal. That was the phrase that really got to me. It reminds me of our mom, Steve, who learned a little bit about climate change, and now whenever I drive her to the goddamn store or the doctor, wherever I take her, she looks at the clouds and she's like, climate change. These are climate change clouds. I've never seen them before. Mm-hmm. So this is somewhat related to this woman, because I did some deep diving on just clouds, and there's more varieties than I even imagined. There's the top level. There's 10 different types of clouds. They're called they're generic genus
of the cloud.
Right, and so there's 10 of those. But then among those 10, there's also subspecies of each one. In each genus, or all but one, there's like 10, 11, 12 different varieties of that. And then there's also, of those, there's a variety. And they could be like more transparency, less transparency, whatever. And then there's supplementary cloud formations. That's another category where you've got other structures that are related to the cloud, that are like merged with the cloud. And then there's accessory clouds. These are like little clouds that might be nearby or kind of semi-merged. And then there's the special clouds. These are clouds that are created because of local phenomenon that's happening, whether man-made or natural, like forest fires. So you've got all these hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of distinct clouds, and she looks up and says, that's not normal. I mean, I don't think she fully appreciates the fact that how distinct clouds can be. And to look up and say, that's not normal, is kind of ridiculous. But I know there's lots of layers to this, so I'm sure you'll hit the other layers.
So yeah, she clearly has a very limited view of what a proper cloud is supposed to be. If you go to like the next video of her, she says she's in London or something, and she points to in the sky there are some cumulus clouds, and he goes, "Look, legit clouds. Those are proper clouds. How you don't often see those." So she thinks that cumulus clouds or whatever, something like there's a very limited range of clouds are proper clouds. What she's pointing to there are just stratus clouds. Those are normal clouds. They tend to get layered, right?
Exactly.
And they have this, this kind of pattern to them. They've been around forever. You could also find drawings of stratus clouds from over 100 years ago, right? So clearly, historically, they've always existed. You could find that you could see them in pictures
before planes existed.
Yeah, before. Over the decades. This is not a new phenomenon. She just, I guess, never noticed or realized that this is, there's lots of different forms that clouds take. So she says, well, this looks weird to me. This is not a proper cloud. Therefore, there's a worldwide conspiracy to poison the planet, right?
Yeah.
But of course, I also think that's maybe comes first. You know what I mean? The
Oh, of
conspiracy
course.
theory, and then you're kind of looking for things like confirmation bias.
That's her
to try
bias,
to,
yep.
to fit
Yep.
into this narrative, and of course, in the comments, you have a lot of people coming in and agreeing with that narrative. It's like, yes, they are poisoning us, and of course, she sees them all around the world, and rather than concluding that it's a natural phenomenon, she concludes, well, it's a worldwide conspiracy. Like every country in the world is conspiring together, which is odd, in order to poison the planet. Why? It makes give me a coherent story here. What is actually happening?
Right.
Who is doing it? Who has the ability to do that? How are they carrying this off? How without anybody, without whatever, like the media getting wind of it, as it were. It's a completely unsustainable, mass conspiracy theory.
It reminds me of when you became more interested in birds, and you said that when you saw birds, and as you become used to that, you would see birds and you would see features that you just didn't notice before because you're more tuned into it. So it's like
you also not only do you see it is very similar to that. Not only do you notice features you didn't notice before, but you notice birds you didn't notice before.
Whole bird. So it's like, look at that bird. I've never seen that bird before. This is a robotic bird that's going to kill people. It's like, come on. Come on.
Right. Well, when you start, and of course, if you just either just studied online or whatever, different cloud formations, I'm sure the same thing is true. I notice a few different types of clouds, but if that was your expertise, or if you had a lot more knowledge about it, you would notice many, many more different specific varieties of clouds, just because you have that information, you're attuned to it. So if you're interested in clouds, there's a lot of information online about it. That this is some type of stratus cloud that she's pointing to, where they're basically they sort of layer out like that. This is not some kind of worldwide conspiracy to poison the planet. It's just nature, and again, it doesn't take that much curiosity to figure that out.
Yeah.
But I was really struck when you go to the next video. It's like, look, proper clouds, as if that's the only type of cloud that's real. Everything else is fake. Incredible.
Alrighty.
All right.
That was fun. All right, good.
These aren't proper clouds, Bob.
Yeah, it's like, it makes me think of like proper people.
Yeah.
All right, man.
It's like, why? There's people have black skin. Those aren't real people.
It's just like, Jesus. That's true. It probably does lead to that kind of thinking. Just brain dead.
Bye, people.
All right. Well, let me play some hold music while I get the TikTok stuff set up for real. Bob, you could take, since Steve probably won't eat the bread, you can maybe
just
leave
take them all.
A couple for Jocelyn if you think, but take them all. Yeah, you can take them all. Yeah, they're in the red container if you want. Yeah, just bring it back later. Yeah, she'll like it.
Yeah, but the conspiracy narrative is so common.
Yeah.
It's like that's the common thread running through all of the pseudoscience on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's the conspiracy assumption that they are poisoning you in some way. They're not lying to you about space. They're lying to you about history. They're lying to you about the clouds. They're lying to you about our food. They are lying to you about everything for all these because they're trying to kill everybody, apparently. They're trying to depopulate the world. And of course, the conspiracy theorists have been claiming that the world order has been trying to depopulate the world for the last 50 years.
It's not working.
It's not working. Vaccines are going to kill everybody.
Yeah, okay. No.
Eventually.
Speaking of which, I didn't even bring the one. It's apparently the autism registry thing that RFK is trying to put together, which is a whole nother
fucking RFK.
Yeah, piece of something. Actually,
people with autism are never going to vote. Yeah.
I know, it's crazy. It's like, what have you? Have you seen Elon Musk?
I know it's just so it is ironically funny because I mean Musk is so clearly on the spectrum. Yeah. David Gorski wrote a good article about it on science-based medicine. You know, essentially what RFK Jr. was saying about autism. It's all bullshit, but you know, anti-vaccine rhetoric from 20 years ago. That's what it is. That's all anti-vaccine rhetoric.
Yeah, and this is a good way to say it. Soft eugenics. Yeah, it's like that's basically kind of what they're saying. Oh, can you push that chair out of the one behind you? Yeah, that one. Yes, just get it out. Get out of here. All right, let's move back to a different a-hole.
This fucking guy.
Another dingus. And whose show do you think he's on? All right, stand by. Let me start this.
30 years. Go back 25, 30 years, you'll find people telling you that anatomically modern humans didn't exist until 50,000 years ago. Then in Morocco, they found evidence of anatomically modern humans 300,000 years ago. Humans just like us, with the same brains, the same capacities, the same abilities than us. Once you start extending that timeline back, you're leaving much more room for an advanced civilization to emerge. This was a civilization that flourished during the Ice Age and that was obliterated almost completely in the cataclysm of the Younger Dryas. There were survivors. Those survivors left their fingerprints in places like Göbekli Tepe. After the Younger Dryas was over, they then sought to initiate hunter-gatherers into their system of knowledge.
That, of course, is Graham Hancock, who's a notorious crank, not a scientist, who has been promoting this alternative history nonsense for a long time. And basically a lot of it is premised on the notion that there are lost, ancient, advanced civilizations whose fingerprints have been left in the archaeological findings that we find today. He's generally considered to be a complete crank by actual archaeologists, actual scientists, because he has no evidence to support his massive leap of logic there, his massive claim. Now, all he's really saying here in this clip, this piece of this puzzle, is that, well, Homo sapiens have been around for a lot longer than we initially thought. That's pretty much always the case. We always are extending the timeline as we find older and older specimens. But sure, Homo sapiens have been around for, 100,000 years, maybe longer. That doesn't mean that they're exactly the same as modern humans. They actually it's demonstrably true that human brain size has continued to increase over and intelligence over evolutionary time, even in the last few thousand years. But anyway, even if we said that fully modern humans were around 100,000 or more years ago, therefore he said that leaves the time for these civilizations to emerge. All right, but what does it take? What does it take for an advanced civilization to emerge? One, it takes agriculture. There's absolutely no chance of that happening without agriculture. And the reason for that is you need to be able to grow enough food to support the people who are not growing food, who are going to do things like invent language and technology, right, and mathematics, and the things required to have an advanced civilization. Even not necessarily even an industrial civilization, just an advanced civilization of the type that he's talking about. So where's the evidence that agriculture emerged anywhere in the world prior to when we think it emerged, basically in the Middle East around 12,000, 13,000 years ago? Where's the evidence of thousands of years of agriculture leading up to, the development of written language and mathematics and all these other elements? And it's not enough to say, their civilization was wiped out, therefore all that knowledge went away. But, this is what archaeology is all about, right? Archaeologists have reconstructed lost civilizations from all over the world from thousands of years ago. Why is there absolutely no evidence for any lost advanced civilization? Where is their agriculture? Where are the plants that they domesticated, or the animals that they domesticated? Where is their written language and their mathematics and their knowledge base that would be necessary to support an advanced civilization? And where are the artifacts? Where's the stuff? But what he's pointing to and what people point to are things. What about the pyramids? It's like, yeah, but the pyramids, we know who built the pyramids, we know when they were built, we know who built them, etc. That's not evidence of a more ancient, because he's saying, there's time over the last, a couple 100,000 years. He's not saying within the last 12,000 years, right? The last 12,000 years is the civilization that we know about. That's, the civilization leading up to the modern world. If you're saying that 20 or 30 or 40 or 100,000 years ago, there was an ancient advanced civilization, where's the evidence for that? There's none. Zero. Absolutely none. So you have to say that the entire scientific community, all archaeologists, paleontologists, geologists, whatever, that they're all either they don't know what they're doing, or that there's some conspiracy to hide this for whatever stupid made-up reason. It makes no sense. All of these things that people who are amateurs who don't know what they're talking about put forward as, well, this is bizarre, like this is evidence of advanced technology in the ancient world. They just don't know what they're talking about. Read or talk to actual archaeologists who have studied it. You could see, yes, we know the techniques that were used. We know the technology that was involved. We know the people who did this. There's no massive mystery. Not that we know everything. Of course, there's still a lot to discover about all the different pieces of the ancient world. But there is not room in the evidence that we have for some completely additional lost, super ancient, advanced civilization. It's impossible. There's no way that would have come out of nowhere without leaving mounds of evidence in its wake. Even just the emergence of agriculture 100,000 years ago or whatever, we would have seen evidence of that. Or at the very least, we could say right now, there is no evidence of it. And no evidence means you cannot conclude that there was this ancient civilization like he is concluding. He's just making it up because he's an amateur. Scientists do not take this guy seriously, and you shouldn't either.
All right. Hancock.
That fucking guy.
What a guy. What a guy. Oops. Why does it do that? Okay.
Right. The agriculture thing is the nail in the coffin. It's like, because those domesticated plants and stuff wouldn't go away.
Right. They just disappear.
Yeah, if there was agriculture 100,000 years ago, like, we would absolutely know about it.
That's what they want you to think, Steve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's true.
Yeah. Oh, right.
They want you to think things that are true because they're scientists. This is what they do.
Right. Yeah, I guess that is potential.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's it for this week. Remember, if you see anything, say something.
It's somebody just to respond to the last comment there. It's very thinly veiled racism.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It is absolutely racism.
Certainly.
It's like these brown people could not have possibly done this.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So there must have been some white ancient civilization that did it, or aliens, right? Those are the two things.
White aliens.
White aliens did it.
All right. Yeah, I think that's... if you have anything else you find, like I was saying, just go ahead and tag us in it on the TikToks or send it in, or there's a submission thread in the live stream channel. This Friday, I don't think I'm available this Friday, so I don't know if we're going to do a Friday.
All right, yeah,
thing. We'll push it off till next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of random stuff, but we'll do some more stuff, and we have a special returning constant guest. We already it's Evan, but it's
Evan may join us next week.
Yeah, he may join us. He was stuck at work today, but he's working on a bread. We've been discussing. He's like, do I have to make it, or does a bakery count? I was like, no, you have to make it.
You have to make it, yeah.
But we'll see what he says. All right. I guess until next time, that's it.
All right.
Anything else?
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Hawaii Conference 2026. That would be pretty cool. I don't know if we have a huge following in Hawaii, but if you know some people that you can get like 150 to 200 people together in Hawaii.
If you can get 200 people to show up pretty much anywhere in the world, we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll do it for that. Yeah. But there's some other stuff happening in 2026. There is the eclipse, you know what I mean? So that is something we're working on. For España.
There's something else we're working on for 2026,
which is another.
We can't announce
talk
yet.
about it. We won't talk about it. There's a bread tax.
Keep
There
your
will be
eye
a
out.
bread tax. Yes, we'll bring bread to whatever the future shows are. All right, that's it. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye. Thanks, Ian.
Yep.
All right.